WGPR Detroit HD2.
You're watching WHPS, Highland Park, Detroit. The views and opinions expressed on the following show are not necessarily the views and opinions of WHPS, its affiliates, management, or sponsors.
You wouldn't have to go anywhere because this is the Talk Beat Jones and This is the Talk Beat Jones, and I am Billy E. Jones, and I'm excited to be here today. And I want to thank you for being with us today on this wonderful, beautiful day. It's a little wet outside, but we want it that way. We are in the state of Michigan, in the city of Detroit, Highland Park. And you with your Talk Beat Jones. Again, you are the host when you call in on the Talk Beat Jones. And we're letting you know that now we're going back to the fact that we want you to call in. We want you to be able to talk. Now, I know people say, well, Billy, the other stations, they can be heard for, and you can be heard for, but you know what? We have the quality. We have the quality. We give you that wonderful, great information, and we want to receive the information from you as well. And also, we want you to understand if there is something that is on your mind that you want it discussed, we can do that. We can do that. We've been working to try to bring things back to where we were, to where we want to go. And that is to be a great servant for you in getting you the information that you need from not only from around the world, but right here in Detroit. From right here in Detroit, so that the people will understand what is happening right here in your own homeland, in your own backyard. So, again, you're able to pick up the telephone and you're able to call us. We want you to understand that me and my co-host, Miss Michelle Broughton, we love to talk with you. We love giving out information, but we also will take your call. Now, what we're going to do with our calls is we give you 5 to 7 minutes, and then we have to move on. But you have that time to discuss and put out what's on your mind, what you want to think. If there's something that is not good for you, and you say, I object, call in. If there's something that you really feel strongly about that you want to agree with, call in. This is your time to be able to express yourself. That's what we do right here on the Talk Beat Jones. And we try to find things that may be of interest to you so that you can say, I didn't know that. Or, I knew something and I was able to help the people from around the world. You know, we're on the Roku, Amazon, Apple, and all the other streaming devices. You can watch us. Your friends can watch us. My friends in California watch me. Watch you when you call in. So remember, the program is live every Wednesday from 10 a.m. until 11 a.m. That's from 10 a.m. until 11 a.m. We're live. And of course, you can hear the conversation. You can watch the program again on a Sunday from 8 to 9. If your friends say, I missed that, doggone it, I missed it. It's good to hear about it, but it's a wonderful, great thing to be able to see it. And WHPR TV 33, WHPS has made it available so that on Sunday, you're able to watch the program as well. As we're just moving right along here talking to you, wanted to give you some new understanding about where we are. And last night, as I prepared to be with you, my heart got heavy when I was thinking about all of this COVID situation and the fact that we thought that we had it going in a controlled fashion, and now we see that it's back to the wildfire of COVID. And it brought me back to the time to thinking real quickly to where we would be on the Talk Beat Jones with the people who were interested in being part of this program. Your state rep, Isaac Robinson, had been committed to being a person, a host on the Talk Beat Jones. We were looking to take it to the We had my good friend, your good friend, Mr. Tom Wilson. You know, the inside guy. He was a host here on the Talk Beat Jones front door. And so Mr. Stacy breaks me up a little bit to even talk about it. He's no longer with us. The late State Rep Isaac Robinson, and also the late Tom Wilson. I'm going to tell you, we had a powerhouse group of folks that was joining us, of course, along with my host, Miss Michelle Broughton. Can you imagine that? Miss Michelle Broughton, Tom Wilson, and State Rep Isaac Robinson all being a part of this table, talking conversation with you, giving you that inside information. For those who say, oh, he didn't do that, State Rep Isaac Robinson also helped sponsor at one point parts of this show. So he was committed. And we're looking at what is going on with our people. We have the thing about people receiving injections or not receiving injections. That's one thing. People wearing masks or not wearing masks. That's a different scenario. Because, you know, one thing is, yes, you can control what you want to put in your body. But in terms of what type of stuff you want to spew out into the atmosphere that I may walk into or maybe right across from you, that's not good. That's not good. And there was a super spreader in California, and these were with professional people. Professional people. So I'm not going to try to give you all of the details. Just want to tell you this real quickly for those who say, well, we did it here, but we didn't do it there. Well, what they did at the wedding, they had the mask. They had the mask. We're talking about professional people. We're talking about people who actually trace the viruses, etc. And they wore the mask. And at the other part of the ceremony, they took the mask off. Over 40-something people, and we're talking about people they say were vaccinated. Most were vaccinated. But 40-some people, including some of the people who were vaccinated, came down with the COVID. And you're looking at all of these restaurants, you're looking at all of these sporting events. Now the question to you should be, if these people who are making multi-millions of dollars, and these owners who have multi-billion dollars of interest with these folks, these players, the management, the training staff, the coaches, do you realize at this point that and I'm not going to talk about the high schools at this point, we're talking about the professional folks, the people who should be very much front door, who should be the people that should not be having a problem with coming down with the COVID, I would think. So why is it now that we got games that are scheduled that may not be played? Why is it that we come up to pay your money to come out to see a team play, and they say, well, wait a minute, we've got over 7 to 10 of our people that can't play because they're under COVID protocol. COVID protocol. What is, can somebody please tell me what is COVID protocol in terms of these professional athletes? And they have a certain time period and then they're brought back. But for lay people, when we hear this, well, they're under protocol. What does that really mean? What does that really mean? I don't know. And because I don't know, I'm sure maybe many of you don't know. All I know is they say, well, they're back. They're going to play next week. They have a certain time period. Yeah. But tell that to the Lions and the team that they had to try to put together this particular week. Did they make it work? Nah. Too many guys were out. But it's not just the Lions. It's not just the Lions. But I'm tell you what. Some people say, Billy, you lying. Well, I'm going to do this. I'm going to bring it so that we can make sure that we have researched the conversation. So when I need research, who do I turn to? Well, I've got my partner here. So I just did my opening, and now let us start with the Talk Beat Jones.
Good morning, family. Good morning. What a wonderful day. Look at this weather. And I am Michelle Broughton. I'm Michelle Broughton, longtime Detroiter, educator, precinct delegate, neighbor, daughter, mother, grandmother, a host of everything. But I'm here to enlighten you, to share with the family. And I'm so happy. Hopefully everybody's in good spirits and good health. And we are also paying attention to our friends, our family, and our neighbors, because this is that time of year.
Most definitely that time of the year, and we're going to put it so that what's happening?
What's happening?
What's happening?
What's happening? Well, going back
Tim.
to piggyback on what you were doing.
What I want. Hey Tim, I'm calling his name, but I'm not asking to answer. Tim and I was talking about the situation in California earlier, and so after the commercial break, we'll talk about it again a bit more. But go right ahead.
Oh, you were speaking about the
COVID in the schools
and the games.
And
the games that are canceled.
Mm-hmm.
And with our organization or with our company.
Which company is that?
Detroit Public Schools.
Okay.
When they say you are, what was the term you were using that the COVID players had to do?
Protocol. They were out for COVID protocol.
Okay, so COVID protocol.
Mm-hmm.
In some companies, because I can't speak for the Pistons or whatever the NBA organization, when a player tests positive or shows some signs, headache, whatever the symptoms are of COVID, the protocol is they have to quarantine for 10 days. And then if they're vaccinated, it's a shorter period of time of quarantining because they could be carriers. They might not be full-blown COVID sick, got to go to the hospital or stay home, but they're carriers if they're testing positive. Because as I understand it, the players have to be tested as well, vaccinated or not. They have to be tested because they're exposed to so much. So they have to quarantine, and that's a part of what that conversation is.
And that's a great explanation. I'm glad that you brought that because I'm consistently curious because they're saying, well, these players are supposed to be, they're taking the shots, shot in the arms already.
True.
So I'm just wondering, are we talking or is there something else that we really are not aware of
Well, I heard a doctor. She was on one of the major stations, and the story was there was a wedding, and everybody in the wedding party were
California.
doctors,
Yes.
a physician,
Yes.
fully vaccinated, all of that, and they still somehow contracted or were carriers or got infected from a asymptomatic person. So her explanation was this: you have to layer up. Quote, Swiss cheese. You might be covered, but it has holes in it. You might be covered and it still has holes in it. So you really have to be covered in order to be protected as best as possible. But everybody's situation is different, because if you're compromised, according to the doctors, which I'm not one, if you are a diabetic, if you are a kidney patient, anything, a heart patient that you are dealing with prior to, and they say hypertension is now on the list, you are more susceptible to getting infected with the coronavirus. So her solution was be vaccinated. I believe they also had the booster. And when you're out in the public, you should wear a mask, and you should always wash your hands and don't touch your face, because it could slip through. You are protected, but you need to be triple protected, because now they're saying the new, and it slips my mind, the new variant
Omicron.
is more contagious. So we just have to be mindful of what's going on and where we are and where we're going.
They're saying it's more contagious, and and it seems that sometimes they want to kind of like say, well, it's more contagious, it's still COVID, but
Not as bad.
it's not as bad. Well, when you're telling me that this form of the flu is not as bad, but we still have folks that are dying. We still have folks who are working in those hospitals that cannot spend time with their family,
Right.
that have no off time, their system is becoming immune compromised because of their stress levels, etc. We can't consider the fact that if you have a heart attack or you're involved in a car accident or accident, etc., that you are taken to a hospital and they say we can't see you. Why? Because everything is backed up with COVID cases. And the people who are saying, well, I don't want to take the injections because of this. Yes, and as I stated before, you have that right. However, who is packing the hospitals? The folks who are not taking the injections. I'm looking at, is this going to be a situation that we just keep having mutations? Because as long as we have this pocket of everybody says, I don't want to take injections, even though my mother, my sister died of COVID, I don't want to take injections, because people will tell you they've got people in their own home families who've died from this COVID, and they still say, I don't want to take the injections. I'm listening to a man on the radio who gives you all of the reasons and rationale as to why he doesn't feel it needs to take injections. I'm just bamboozled about, and I said that, I'm bamboozled like you as to some of the thinking of the different people. Michelle?
Right. Not sure. A virus is a living thing. And as it mutates, it reminds you of any creature that does mutate. And because we, not me, but the medical society is new. So they're trying their hardest to get the research done. And in the meantime, we have to do our part. There was a physician on television earlier, and he's just hoping that the herd immunity, which we don't hear about anymore, kicks in at some point. However, only time will tell. In the meantime, we're losing families, we're losing loved ones, co-workers, neighbors, and this is really the worst thing I've ever seen.
Herd immunity is the process where we're saying the strong survive. If you remember, folks, we have this
Right.
thing in our lifestyles of only the strong shall survive in certain circumstances. Yes, that is true. The situation does call the herd. If you have a situation that is untreatable or has put you into a compromised situation, you can die. You can die because of these circumstances, these situations. And so it's a nicer way of saying, let you, your babies, your mother, your father, your grandfather, your grandmother, let them go ahead and die because they was born with this situation that gives them a certain weakness.
So only
Why
the
do you have all?
strong
Why do you
survive.
have all of these hospitals that are treating children when they're born, or as time goes on? Why do you have all these hospitals that are treating your father, your mother, your grandparent, and they come home from used to be able to come home from the hospitals? Those are the people, family, when they're talking about herd immunity. That's what they're talking about. Let them die. Second thing, too, folks, is black folks have been known to have a lower class of health care. If you have a lower class of health care, that means that across the board, basically, you're going to have people who are going to be sicker because of, and we can give you all types of different rationale as to why you're sicker than the other folks. So when they talk about herd immunity, just let them black folks die. You're only 12, 13% of the population. Just think about it. Every time we die in masses, in numbers, like other folks, our population in terms of our numbers in America just goes down, down, down. And you see, they don't let us come in like other folks.
Oh no, definitely not. No.
Michelle, can you, this Oxford School Board district adding security steps, I want to ask you, are these steps being taken in Detroit?
Long time ago, 20, 30 years ago.
Okay, or do we still have police in the schools?
In whose schools?
Detroit. Let me just do this.
That's a sensitive subject, only because it's not a secret. The superintendent decided not to renew the contract. So no, they do not have police/security in our schools. At a school board meeting, it was cited or stated, and if you would like, again, do your research. They're in the minutes. A group of people marched, chanted, stated, defund the police. However, I was at that meeting. I'm thinking they're just talking.
Mm-hmm.
They did not look like me.
Okay.
I don't believe they were actual teachers in the
Okay.
schools, because if they were, they would know better.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that they would not put their children in a school system that was incapable of protecting them. So therefore, their children don't go to Detroit public schools. They don't teach in Detroit public schools, but because we're public, they come and blurt out a lot of stuff, you know? So Lord and behold, this year with the new contracts, the superintendent claimed that the community did not want police in our schools. Thank God that our black and brown children, even though they have conflicts, love each other enough not to do a mass shooting. However, we have a lot to address in Detroit public schools because our children are suffering. They need people to love them, talk to them, counsel them. Your other school district, I can't speak on that, but we have always asked for parents to buy clear backpacks so you could see what's in there. And we had, prior to this year, personnel at front doors to check the backpacks. And we also had the metal detectors. And that was to keep us safe. Nothing else, just to keep us safe, our children safe. The point is to protect the children. Isn't that what it is?
Okay. Well, they're saying, I mean, I want you to go along with this. Again, here's a light. They say, Billy, why don't you just use your
bring my
computer
glasses.
or write it down? I want the folks to see it's not something that I'm creating. This is right here that when people get up, they have an option. They can spend $1.50, $2.50, whatever the papers cost. I've forgotten what I paid. And see, this is what y'all are reading. This is what other folks you're talking to are reading, and this is what they're making their statements from, per se. And you say they're educated. It says, increased safety measures are being put in place in the Oxford School District, including a permanent police presence, trauma counselors in every building, safe rooms operated by a crisis team, and therapy dogs.
I love dogs.
They
They kind of make the atmosphere calm down.
I just spent $1,700 on my dog, and Lord
Right.
mercy.
Right.
Because if you love them, that's my therapy dog.
That's right.
That's my
But
therapy
they
dog.
can make a child that's on 10 come down to 1. It's something about a pet and the soft fur. And it's just you are changing the atmosphere. You are stopping this thought of I'm angry, I'm mad, I want to get at somebody to, oh. And usually dogs give back love constantly. Just, you don't have to ask for it, they just do. And then the children will pick up on that, unless they're afraid.
Well, you know, I'm just wondering, how does the steps that they're taking now compare to the steps that are already in place in Detroit? Is this something that they're doing that they should have known that needed to be done already?
You can't say that, remember? Because in the news media, they say, we never thought it would happen here. We live in a great community. We love each other. How could that happen? That's never supposed to happen. It was in the paper a couple of weeks ago.
But with that statement, I'm looking in the paper. I'm not going to try to find it, but they're not going to be in school until after January now.
Right? I saw clippings of the parents. They have no confidence in their school board. They are feeling unsafe. The students want to go back naturally because they want to be with their friends. They want to be able to physically talk and collaborate and maybe heal in a certain way, because teenagers have to talk things out. They touchy. They always touching people and stuff. So if you keep them at home, now it's all bottled up again. But the parents are afraid, because they understand, they know what they teach their children. They just didn't know that it would happen to backfire. Like my grandma used to say, the chickens would come home to roost. You just didn't know it was your farm. You didn't know it was your house. And they have to be careful. So now they want protection. They should have been protecting all along. Again, there are many schools, and I don't ever want to have to go through that. But if it happened once, you would want to be protected from that. And I'm talking about, I believe it was Columbine was the first high school. After that incident, everybody should have been on point, because we don't know what kind of homes children are coming from. We don't know why they're upset. And we do not know, or I'll say I don't know, how available a gun and the bullets, the ammunition, and how well the aim becomes when a child is mad, determined to do such a heinous act. And because that's an unknown factor in this whole scenario, as educators, as superintendents, and all the smarter people, smarter than me, should be aware that children are angry, children are upset. And again, I still think you should change, maybe when you're talking to children, you're not going to the psychiatrist, you're not crazy, but you need help. You need help to go through and calm down whatever it is that is angry in you, that you need to destroy another life.
And let's understand what you're speaking on there too, is the anger when a wife says that her husband is being verbally abusive. Now, that person has the potential to speak for herself, but as we know, it most times they stay quiet.
Right.
What about the children who are being verbally abused? And I say verbally abused because, you know, you're not supposed to be able to spank and whoop your children, but you can whoop them up with some words. And if that child is being verbally abused at home, that anger festers. And that child, now we've had some children who have actually taken the parents out. But we have those children who become introverts with that anger and bring that to school. Can you tell us about emotionally what goes on if a child is introverted?
Social, emotional.
Yes.
As an educator, we're not really trained to spot that. But if it's really bad, you can tell something's not right. So they need an outlet. The child feels comfortable saying, hey, this is not a good day for me today. And be able in confidence to, they might not be able to tell you what it is. They might be embarrassed. You know, my daddy called me dumb and ugly. He beat my mother and, you know, whatever, put me in the basement for all night. They might not ever tell you the story, but they don't have an outlet that is a safe outlet. And again, they're children, so they suffer in silence. And it's hard to teach, do the lesson, be evaluated as the educator, and say, oh, Johnny's having a bad day today. How do I connect with Johnny? And that's the real world. And then when we miss Johnny, then things go south.
Well, we're going to come back after this commercial break and have more conversation for you. And remember, family, okay, so we're going to stay. I tell you what.
Just real quick.
You take it. You take it.
Parents, hug your children, love your children. Try to understand if they have high expectations, like I want an Xbox, but mom and dad been off of work for 2 and 3 years. I don't know how you can explain it to them, but maybe you might want to offer something else that's just as exciting. It probably wouldn't be, but give them different choices so they don't become so angry and mad because this didn't work out. A lot of times we don't have the tools to kind of make the kids have the multiple choices. So if they have all their eggs and all their hopes and dreams in this one thing and it doesn't come, then that's a big letdown. And a lot of times children suffer in silence and they grow up with that one story that they never got. And they never get through it or over it. So I'm trying to understand the little people. As a grown person, you know, hey, sorry, it didn't happen. Next.
What about the conversation about people talking about parents having someone to walk the children to school? And I hear this conversation, I hear some black folks talking about we want to be in a position where we can walk our children to school. And the question is that I thought how does that correlate with the students being bused?
I'm not sure, but let me try to figure this out.
Yes.
When I was growing up in the 60s, we had neighborhood school. It was down the street and a block over. So either our old grandma walked us because she's getting her exercise, or it's like 20 kids walking together, however it goes. And then at lunchtime, we had to come home. We ate at home, and then we went back to school. But again, there was an adult somewhere. And also, Black Panthers used to walk us to school. So we had adults, but there were neighborhood schools. However it happened, the economy happened, and we lost our neighborhood schools, or they decided to put everybody in one big old campus. It's too far to walk. You can't walk 20 miles. You can walk 2 blocks. You can walk 6 blocks, but you can't walk 50. Not as a small child, probably not even as a high school person, and get to school on time. So therefore, they had corner buses to take us somewhere else. Also in Detroit, I believe there was a busing situation because parents believe that all schools are not equal.
But what about now?
Now again, we are closed. We aren't. They already closed schools.
No. Okay. What I'm asking.
The schools are too far.
What I'm asking is saying that we're having folks who have the ability to get on a microphone and spread this conversation and want to say why we don't have the ability to walk. We should be able to walk our children to school.
Okay, the question is the school closed?
Well, let me do this. Yes, they're going back into, like you were saying, the old days. This is now, I speak on how are we doing in December of 2021-ish. That's where I speak from, y'all. And so I'm saying today, can you walk your child to school for lunch? Can you walk your child to school? Can you go and pick your child up from school? I know that the home that I live in Detroit, as of 2016, 15, 14, I could see all these children walking to school. I could see parents walking children to school. And I became like, what's happening? I'm not seeing no children walking to school. We used to watch out for the children. They would listen. We could holler from the top of our stairs if there was a situation. Hey, y'all cut that out. Hey, don't do that. And they would listen. Parents would be there with them. And now all of that is gone. And so I'm saying that causes somewhat of a disengagement between the parent and the child and the school, because the school actually knew, well, you know, I've been here, I've seen your parent walk you, I've seen your parent, I met your parent. You better get it together. I'm going to talk to your dad, I'm going to talk to your mama. You know, that's not happening no more. So for people to keep talking about what it used to be, we have to make the adjustment of how things are done today. You cannot basically walk your child to school, so you need to stop talking that talk about we need to be able to walk our children to school. Yeah, just like you said. How many blocks?
2 blocks,
How many
3 blocks.
miles?
You can't walk them 20 blocks.
How many miles?
Yeah, we don't have the neighborhood schools. The other thing, in Detroit, Michigan in particular is what I'm speaking of. We used to have safe houses. It was a house, you know, and there's a square, and it was put in the front window. So if you were in trouble, you were able to knock on that house, and that person was able to call the police, the fire, your parents, whatever, and you would be safe. They don't have those anymore.
So why? Why? I mean, I'm just curious. If we had all of these wonderful things that was community activated for the parent, for the children, safety, that was a built-in safety mode, you know, because a lot of times children say, I'm gonna get you after school. And the people could see where all the kids going to gather up at this spot. That's where the problem was going to be.
But we also don't have fire decals anymore posted on our windows. When your house catch on fire, the fireman can say, okay, children in that room, this is this room. They don't have those anymore.
So what was the purpose of that? Of having
the decal on the window?
Yeah.
They'd save the children first. If they're on the second level, when we were taught, it was everybody out the house. Everybody out. And once you're out, then you count to see who's left in the house. If somebody's upstairs, the decal's on, the firemen know to go to that spot to get that particular child.
So family, today you've been able to get to a conversation about schools, about the children, and about the emotional effect of what is going on. And if you have questions, you can call in. You can call in, and we're going to take a commercial break, and we're going to come right back. But remember, if you have calls, you can make those calls. Jones, we're here. I am Billy E. Jones and
Michelle Broten.
And this is the Talk B. Jones, every Wednesday live from 10 to 11 and a repeat broadcast on a Sunday from 8 to 9. So if you've been wanting to know about your children, your schools, etc., you tell your folk, listen and watch the Talk B. Jones today. We'll be back right after these commercial announcements. You wouldn't have to go anywhere because this is the Talk B. Jones. And
Hi, this is LaWanda.
This is R.J. Watkins.
Coming to you to bring you some information about the #1 detox in the nation, Lemon Burn. Lemon Burn helps to turn the fat into fit. It's for you, a happier, healthier you. Because you know healthy is the new beautiful. an all-natural way to improve your health. It promotes a healthy digestive system, attacks and reduces belly fat, as well as gives you energy. Need to get yours today. Call 313-868-6612.
Don't forget to exercise and eat right.
Justice for Mario Willis. Truth. Facts. Evidence. Matter. Log into justiceformariowillis.com. Read for yourself.
We at Watkins Broadcasting care about the health and safety of our viewers and listeners. During this novel coronavirus pandemic, please protect yourself and others. Wash your hands well and often. Avoid touching your face. Cough and sneeze into your sleeve. Practice social distancing. Stay at least 6 feet away from others when in public and only leave the house when it's essential. Stay safe. You are important to us.
You wouldn't have to go anywhere because this is the Talk Beat Jones and I. Talk Beat Jones, and I am Billy E. Jones and
Michelle Broughton.
And this is you and me and Michelle Broughton having a conversation. Michelle,
Yes.
before I come in, is there something that is on your mind that you want the world to know, and Detroiters to know, and Highland Parkers to know?
Yes, I want you all to pay attention. I want you all to be vigilant in what's going on in your community and places in which you live. So we have election coming up, the governor's election, the state reps, the Wayne County commissioners, and the Michigan Senate. So I would love for you to understand what has gone on, what has transpired the last 2 years. And you got to check these people because they're going to come in our towns and tell us they're better than popcorn and we need to vote for them. No, I don't. Right now would be the time. Maybe it's too late. We need more choices, but people are afraid to step out because of criticism, or maybe they're not really ready. But you deserve better. I know I deserve better. Native Detroiter, Michigander, and always being ignored. What do you think about that? So pay attention to what's going on. Your vote does count. Don't throw it away. And also, they are still changing the map. Or there's one more meeting and they're going to do a redistricting. So personally, I'm going to watch that because I don't know who they're going to have in our district. I don't know what district I'm going to be in since they're redrawing the maps. And you don't want to waste your time and you don't want to waste your money. And that is the donations you give to a particular candidate. However, again, you deserve better. You deserve better. And it's time for those that we put in office, make sure that the conditions upon where we live is taken care of and addressed, and that our conditions every 2 years, every 4 years should be better. We shouldn't be talking about the same thing, because I personally think that in the city of Detroit, why do I have to keep calling the mayor, come pick up the trash, come pick up the bulk? If he drove around the city, he'd know. They have resources. But if we don't alert them, complain, be the squeaky wheel, then they won't do. And we look and we are suffering inside because I don't like to see trash at the end of my block or at the house that's vacant next to me. Fix it. Fix it. You know it exists. Fix it. The other thing, I was broken. A lady family in the city of Detroit on the west side was renting a home, and I would have guessed that nobody inspected that home. She's watching TV, and all of a sudden her house becomes inflamed. She said the wall was warm and she heard some flickering things, But there's no way that house should have had an electrical fire, whatever. I don't know what it was, but it caught on fire. So for this season, she's displaced. Her, the people that she worked with, they have a GoFundMe. They're trying to help her. And the city has houses in land bank. So when you have a tragedy, and it's been a couple of stories like that, the city needs to enforce the ordinances on these landlords, because they are putting out mothers and young children in the cold because they would not keep up the standard of living. And that's where we are, and that's sad. And it's 2021, and we're still talking about that. I don't know. What do you think? How can we help? That's the thing. How can we help?
By getting you some liquid biocell.
Yes. That's to make us healthy, yes. Yes.
I'm not ready. I just wanted to bring that in, that we're going to talk about it at some point. But, you know, I want the family to understand that sometimes in life you look for something and you work hard for it, and you mine for it, and you find that diamond. In my years, I've been mining and digging, and I finally found the gem. The gem is Miss Michelle Broughton. And I say that, family, because you see, sometimes you have to have a true fighter, a person that can understand the grit of the folks, the need of the folks, the love of the folks has to be in the fire of that person, the honesty, the morality, the willingness to combat anybody that is wrong. This is a gem, family. It's not somebody that is here to emulate somebody else.
No.
It is not to be the second coming of nobody else.
No.
This is an individual that has their own perspective, their own direction, their own self. And as I say to you, I'm not beholding to anyone. And as we go along, when I tell you that we had Mr. State Rep Isaac Robinson that was to be a part of this panel,
Yes.
when I tell you that Mr. Tom Wilson was to be a part of this panel,
Right.
we are sincere. So now we're going to move forward. We don't have State Rep Isaac Robinson.
No.
We don't have Mr. Tom Wilson. And when I say that, many of you know who Mr. Tom Wilson was.
Mm-hmm.
But I've got the gem, Miss Michelle Broughton. So I want you to listen. I want you to learn, because, you know, when I was speaking last week about the pretty face, we don't mine, we don't dig and try to find the pretty face.
That's fleeting.
Misleading. Tell them why the pretty face is misleading, Miss Michelle Broughton.
Beauty has nothing to do with intelligence. It's okay if you're easy on the eyes, but that's different people's opinions. What we are about, or what I work for, what I've always worked for, is to make sure that my community, my block club, is a safe place, is a better place. It's where we live, and that we have the resources. So we need people that are worker bees. And it's nice if you dress up, and it's nice when you look nice. But if you look nice and you have no home and you're hungry, what is it about? So we need shelter, we need transportation, and we need food and clean water. Because again, that's something else that we need to watch, because it happened north in Flint and it's going around the state, so it seems. And Detroit is quiet about it, but you guys know they're digging under the ground, whatever, conversation was, most of the homes have lead pipes and it costs too much to change out the pipes. Really? Really? So you're saying it's okay to poison the rest of the people or to buy the water that Michigan already owns because the bottled water comes from the Great Lakes. But again, we don't ask questions. When we ask, we have to keep asking and press it until we get the answer that we need, the truth. And again, we need to protect ourselves, protect each other, and the family and the friends that we care about because we deserve better. I'm going to keep telling you, we deserve better till you believe it. We deserve better.
All right.
And better's coming.
All right. You know, better is coming, and what I want to do is say this. We're dealing on a health crisis, family. We're dealing in a process where we have many folks that are saying to you, I heard this work, I heard that works. I can remember back in the day we tried this, and this is today's situation. And so many of you, when you see my program come on the air, you'll see me starting off with a bottle. You'll see me starting off with a bottle. That is the Jesuro. That is the Jesuro introduced to you by Dr. Kiefer. Worked hard through Mr. J.D. Hill. This is the concentrate. And I want to say real quickly, if you're paying over $100 to $120, that's right, family. This is not the take a little this, take a little that, take this. This is the complete system. For those of you out there who are presently taking the liquid BioCell, you know you're paying $100 to $120 for each bottle. Now, what makes the bottle effective? You want to reduce wrinkles for younger looking skin. You want to rebuild cartilage to relieve joint pain.
Definitely.
Supportive joint pain, supportive skin health. Vitamin C helps the body to metabolize fat and proteins. Helps in the development and maintenance of bones, cartilage, teeth, and gums. Helps in connective tissues formulation. Helps in wound healing, antioxidant for the maintenance of good health. Now, this is what the people who are selling you this product for $100 to $120. You see, I have two different bottles because now the company has 4 selections for you to choose from. Now, if you are presently taking the liquid BioCell and you want to know how to get a greater price, you can contact me, 313-412-3111 by text message. By text message, because I don't take a lot of calls. I don't recognize who you are. By text message, you can call me. You can text me at 313-412-3111. For those who know me from Oakland, California, know my thing has always been healthcare. Healthcare. So if you want this liquid BioCell, want information about it, how it can make you feel greater, better during this, especially during this time now, 313-412-3111. And Miss Michelle Broughton.
Yes.
You are greater than those who are working hard, because I talk about people working hard, but there's nobody working harder than you, Miss Michelle Broughton. Therefore, let me make sure that I make you the first person with Billy Jones taking the liquid BioCell. Now, you hear all about the collagen and all the other great things. It's in this product. So, Miss Broughton, let me give you the first bottle of a $120 bottle, $100 less. It's $100 to $120. But I want Miss Broughton, because you love her, I love her, and I know that she's going to do great things for us, and I want her body to have the fact that she has something that's going to help her on her journey. Now,
Thank you. I'll
I'm
be
gonna take
walking
mine
and
too.
knocking on doors.
You got it.
That's right. That's right. Out in the community and able to walk. So we do have to do that. We need to walk. We need to move our bodies so that we stay healthy and stay here longer to protect those that need our protection.
Now I know that people say I can't afford no $100 and $120. I know that. I know that. So guess what? We're talking to those people who are presently paying $100 to $120 a month. Excuse me, a bottle, because some people will drink it and they will buy at least 2 bottles in a month. No biggie. People put a premium on their health. So if you're satisfied buying a little of this and buying a little of that and taking a little of this and taking a little of that, not a problem. But if you want the top of the food chain, I got it. 313-412-3111. And from wherever you are in the world, from wherever you are, you can text me, 313-412-3111. Miss Michelle Broughton, I don't have no more time. It's all yours.
All right, everybody, since this is the health part of it, we need to stay healthy. Health is premium. You cannot put a price on it. You cannot. So we want to stay healthy. We want to put the things in our body that is good for us. Also drink your water, do your daily exercise, take care of yourself, and take care of your body. Take care of your family, and your family should be taking care of you. Because we are all together and we need each other, and we want to be healthy and stay here for the next. What's next? We want to be here for that. Billy?
Oh, what's next is Talk Beat Jones taking it to the next level. Because now you see, family, I got a partner. I've got a partner. You've got a partner. And you've got a friend. But you have an advocate for your safety, for your health, and for the advancement of the principles of what is your rights. That's Miss Michelle Broughton. Get the name correct. That how do you say your name?
Michelle Broughton.
I mean, say it again, because I can't never get it right.
Michelle Broughton. And also I want to say hello to your father who watches us faithfully. And family, if you have any questions, next time when we meet, give us a call. I'll be able, maybe, I'll try and answer them. Anyhow, we want you to stay safe and see you next week.
That's right. She said it. I'm with it. Have a great one. Don't forget, Wednesdays from 10 to 11. Oh, excuse me. Wednesdays from 10 to 11. Sundays from 8 to 9 p.m. You said what now?
Be safe.
Bye, y'all.
You wouldn't have to go anywhere because this is the Talk Beat Jones and I.